Hey everyone, welcome back to TJ Hates Quitters over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari, and I am joined by my co-host Katie. Katie, how have you been? It's been a little while since we've been on the mics together.
I know it has been a little while. I've been good. You already know this, but I had to travel for work. Last week I was in Romania. So it was just a lot. So that's why we haven't been here. But yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I can't believe the holidays are here. It's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
It's going to be 2023 in about 14 hours, I think.
I know. I think so too. I think it might already be 2023 and we just don't realize.
It could be. At this point, I just sit back and let it happen,
Yeah,
like
same.
I'm done trying to take control of things. I can't promote shit on Twitter anymore.
I know.
I can't count on the Cowboys to win a game that they have in the bag. Like, there's nothing really that I'm just going to sit here. Whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens.
Yeah. Fessie's in power again. It's just like, what's happening in this world? Yeah.
I accidentally tweeted about Fessy and it won't stop getting likes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I shouldn't say accidentally. It was purposefully. I just didn't know that this many people are like, I shouldn't say this many
People have feelings about Fessy.
Yeah.
Fessel.
But it picked up so much like traction with this week's episode, and he really didn't do anything.
No.
He was a
Nothing.
problem last week, and he really didn't do much this week.
Right. I don't think I can remember one thing about him this week, really.
He did make one comment this week that at the beginning of the episode that I could see angering people, especially because Mariah went on Banana's podcast and was like, Fessy was a shit partner to me. And
weird. Never heard that before.
Yeah. Wow. The grass is green. The sky is blue. And Fessy women.
Yep.
Here we are.
Here we are.
But he made a comment at the beginning of the podcast the episode this week where he was like, Mariah isn't my ride or die. Casey's my ride or die.
Right. Right. Well, I have thoughts about this.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I have thoughts about Casey and her brother being cast together. Like, why wouldn't it be Casey and Fessy as ride or dies? Or Casey and Josh, or just anybody but Kenny?
Right.
Like, what about Kenny made them say, like, this guy needs to be on TV? When Fessy's literally right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the opposite gender, and they're obviously doing opposite gender pairs. So, like, we have options here.
Yeah, I don't understand. The only thing that does actually make sense about it to me is Casey and her sister are not sister, sorry, her brother. Where the fuck
I was like, Casey's a sister?
Casey and her brother. That
no,
was not a
no
shot
more
at Kenny.
Casey's. No more Clarks.
That wasn't a shot at Kenny in the slice. That was just me being a moron.
No.
I like don't mind Kenny. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
he seems like a nice guy. Like, he seems like someone who would be great.
On the internet being like, why is he on the show? Which, like, understandable.
No, it's a good question, though. Why is he on the show?
Why is he on the show? However, they are probably the most ride or die pair that's there. Like, they might embody ride or die the most. And so maybe it was to give some legitimacy to a term I never need to hear again. And this is a crossover between our two main shows that we do together, between this and Heather Gay on Salt Lake City, Real Housewives. I'm so sick of the term ride or die.
Me too. It's just like you say it so much that it means nothing. It's almost like you're putting a curse on people when you say they're your ride or die.
Also, politely, like, are any of you actually dying for the other person?
No.
Okay, let's keep it moving.
Well, this is maybe more for Housewives, but I could see Heather dying for Jen Shaw for no reason at all, but we can talk about that more.
Yeah, we have
whatever black magic Jen Shaw has over Heather. Kenny seems like a really nice guy. I don't get it. I mean,
he's when they've allowed him to be on camera, he's even been kind of funny. I loved when he was like, I know you want to get rid of the strongest guy. Clearly, like, and him joking around about that. Like, he has a sense of humor. But yeah, I'm not sure why he's there.
And he's still there.
Yeah. This whole, what, are we having like a redemption house type of
I
thing, it looks like?
God, I guess so. It's funny. The last time we podcasted was before the episode where the format changed, and I was like,
Hmm.
I don't think there's going to be a format change, and boy,
Same.
was I wrong.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, I guess we have some kind of a redemption house, or like they're sitting in purgatory or something,
Hmm.
depending on
Yeah.
the fate of their partner.
Yeah. We'll find out more, I guess, when the challenge decides to change up the rules again. But we don't
Yeah,
really know much about
as
that.
they do.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a little bit of time traveling because again, like nothing's real at this
Hmm.
point, and we're gonna talk about the episode where Michelle and Jay left. So the last time
Yep.
we talked, they were still they were still there. They were still there, and so I believe Anissa and Jordan won that week, and they put Michelle and Jay right into the the
The
zone,
zone.
and then they ended up having to go against Olivia and Horacio,
Yes.
and I don't remember who else was in there. Oh, wait, it was
Nelson and
Nelson.
Fessy.
Yeah, I was like, I
Hmm.
know there's something about this. Yes, let's talk about that too. I forgot. I
Okay.
knew Nelson was involved. What do you think of Nelson saving Fessy over Olivia?
Nelson is loyal to his friends to a fault, or his male friends to a fault, and I really like don't understand because Fessy clearly has done him wrong in the past. Like it's not like Fessy is Corey. It's this is Fessy. Like he's screwed you over.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl, I mean, I guess there's more history there, but not really because like Mariah isn't really like it's not like it's Fessy and Anissa or Fessy and like someone else that Nelson is close with. It's just like Fessy and someone that is also a rookie. It
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm wondering if it has something to do with like Horacio not being super close with Nelson, but otherwise it doesn't make any sense because I clearly should have chosen Olivia to save.
Yeah, the only thing, and I don't think this is true, but the only thing I think makes sense is that by saving Fessy, you also kind of keep Bananas happy because
Yeah.
of him and Mariah, versus Olivia. The only person that really has to deal with the wrath of that is Nelson. And
Yeah. That's
so
true.
I don't think he was thinking like that personally. I just think that Nelson gets away with like disrespecting women more than Bessie does. It's really what it comes down to.
Because I don't think
So
Nelson does it well, he used to do it much more outwardly. I think Nelson's doing it in a way where it can be under the guise of like, oh, I'm more loyal to this person. Like
yeah,
what he did with Amber, like that was super disrespectful, but it wasn't disrespectful in the way that Fessy just talks down to people and like makes them out to be as if like they are inconsequential to everything that he's doing on the show.
yeah. His right now disrespectfulness is bros before hoes type of thing, and
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but let us not forget Nelson's past that has somehow
Oh,
escaped him
yeah.
more than others. I don't understand how. I don't get it.
It's worked on me too. I like Nelson's like my guy. And I know he was trash back in the day. Like I know that. But they were all trash back in the day. Everybody's been trash on back in the day on the show at some point. He makes me laugh. He brings me joy when I watch. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, he has definitely taken a main character role this
He
season.
really has. And I love it for him. I love it. When we get down to the needy greedy, I love it. I love it for Nelson.
So yeah, we end up having Nelson pick to save Fessy and Mariah over Olivia and Horacio, his love interest, and they go in against Jay and Michelle in this kind of strange challenge
Mm-hmm.
where one person is like starfished up inside of a wheel that goes up and down this flat ramp, and there is a puzzle that you need to
Yeah.
figure out
It's like
where,
Towers of Hanoi,
yeah,
basically. Yeah.
exactly. It's just that you're spinning in a circle, but you're on the opposite side of the wheel from your partner, so it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to hear them. And Jay knew exactly how the puzzle was supposed to go. So it wasn't the issue of the puzzle, it was the issue of being able to hear each
Yeah.
other. And the audience, aka the rest of the cast, was screaming and telling Horacio and Olivia how to do the puzzle.
Yeah.
And so they got turboed. They got turboed, as
They
Jay
big
said.
time.
Now, because I've been watching on the MTV app and I'm yet to change over to YouTube TV, even though you've told me to, that I see the extended version, aka it's just like extra final words from,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and from the people who have been eliminated. And I can't remember if they said it in the episode or if they said it in the extra final words. Like, oh yeah, we're like the new Turbo.
I don't recall hearing them say it, but that doesn't mean that they didn't say it on the episode. But
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on this because this made quite a stir on the challenge internet of people being like, these people shouldn't be able to interfere, and then other people being like, this isn't even the worst case of people interfering. Like, what's your feeling on how Jay and Michelle went out and the audience participation?
I'm not against audience participation. I think that's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already seen it earlier. That's how Olivia and Horacio beat Turbo and Tamara, whoever his partner
No
was. Like,
idea.
I don't know, whatever. No offense to her, but whoever she was, that this has happened. We saw it happen in All Stars when Wes and Yes went against each other. There was people kind of guiding Wes a little bit more in terms of like, oh, hit this now with like
Yeah.
their the game that they were playing. It's always been a part of the challenge, and like we said when this happened earlier in the season, if the challenge wanted to stop it from happening, they've done it before. That
Right.
you ship the people off to a random place to go have their elimination, and it's just the 2 or 4 of them, however many people are participating.
Yep.
So I'm not opposed to it. I think it sucks that because like I was rooting for Jay and Michelle.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see them leave, but it sucks that they went out that way. However, they went out that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is just like a staple of the show at this point. The only place I feel like we didn't see it was the Challenge USA. So it was unclear to me if there were rules against it on that show, especially on some of the eliminations where there was like trivia. But on the main show, I feel like this is just what happens on the show. Like that's how, and on All Stars, as you mentioned. And it's just been a staple of the show for so long that you just kind of have to assume that there's going to be some kind of audience participation at the eliminations at this point. And you're right. If the show wanted to change it, they would have changed it already. So clearly it's just within the rules of the show.
There was an episode where Alyssa started doing more than just cheering in the Challenge USA and was like guiding a bit. And honestly, I think it's just because all those people come from shows that are far better produced and have more rules than the challenge does, where like you're left to assume it's not a rule until you've broken it and the challenge tells you you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get away with it and sometimes you don't.
Right. Yeah, totally. Totally.
So
you may as well give it a shot on the challenge. You never know what's going to happen.
What did you think of the way the rest of the cast, especially the vets, reacted to Jay and Michelle in that final episode? I think of Jordan being like, your reputation matters, and which is funny for Jordan to say that.
Coming from all people.
Like, aren't you only back because like you were given a like third chance at this point to not be a trash can, versus where like what have Jay and Michelle done reputation wise, but I guess like game reputation wise, like what did you think of how everybody was acting towards them?
I kind of felt a little bad for Jay and Michelle. I think they got really treated pretty poorly, even though all they were doing was playing the game. Like, yeah, they played the game messy and they made some decisions that didn't really make a lot of sense. But what did they do that was so bad for them to get treated like they were the house pariah? Like, they were not doing what Turbo was doing and like personally insulting people or personally starting fights or inciting things. Like, they were just playing the game,
Hmm.
and they are both. Michelle is more of a rookie, I guess, right, than Jay. But Jay's been around for a little while. Like, yeah, he wasn't on a few seasons, but it's not like this is his first season ever. They made some stupid moves. Big deal. Like, it just seemed weird how they were getting treated, and that's why I just don't love this like this mentality of like vets versus rookies versus like I don't know. It's
Well,
always a pile on.
that's the point that I want to make. To me, it just seemed like the vets were disguising a vets versus rookie type of thing because
Right.
while we've said Michelle and Jay are not technically rookies, back in the day, they wouldn't be called vets right now.
No.
They would
No.
still be called rookies. Like,
Hmm.
I think we've kind of just given in to MTV saying, like, oh, you've been
Been on one
on one
episode of the
season of the
show.
challenge
Yeah.
for, yeah, like three dailies. Like,
Yeah.
you're a vet now. You get it. Where, I don't know. I would love if they were more distinct in that.
Me
Like,
too.
okay, you made it to a final. Now you're a vet. Until you've made it to a final, you're not one. But I just think it was a lot of the cast reacting in a way where they didn't say like we're going after the people we have the least amount of relationship with,
Hmm.
because when you look at who's still here besides Olivia and Horacio, it's people who've been playing this game who have relationships inside the game,
Yeah.
outside the game, a long tenured history with each other. And for like, I just didn't like the way that people were reacting to it,
Hmm.
because it just was like, just admit that you want to keep your friends around. Just say it. Just say it.
Right.
Stop giving it like, oh, your reputation matters. They didn't do anything
No.
within the realm of the game that deserved like the ire that they were getting, in my opinion.
No, I agree. And like, look at what Nelson did. He put his quote unquote girlfriend or whatever Olivia is to him in over his best friend. And that's like a shitty thing to do. His best
Yeah.
friend who screwed, or one of his best friends, I guess, who screwed him over and like physically injured him in the past, like treated him really badly. And that should be damaging to your reputation for Nelson. But like, no one seems to care about that.
No. In conclusion, I'm sad that Jay and Michelle are gone.
They made things interesting for sure. Now I feel like even though we have the format change, it just doesn't feel like we're getting any more interesting. That's for sure.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. So after Jay and Michelle leave, the next episode, it didn't have an elimination, but it did have the format change. So the challenge was basically described as a mini final. We're not going to get into the daily challenge of it all because, quite frankly, I don't really care, except for the fact that Bananas and Nani couldn't figure out that 4 block puzzle.
Yeah, that is insane to me, actually. It like there's no possible way it could be that hard. If Fessy can figure it out first, there's no way that Bananas and Nani couldn't figure it out. Who have been on this show for like decades. There's no way.
Yeah, I feel like there's obviously a finite amount of combinations, but especially when there's only 4 different shapes,
Right. Like,
how
come
do you
on,
not just
guys.
kind of like stumble into the right answer at some
Exactly.
point?
Eventually you're gonna have to get it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
wild.
very
Absolutely
strange.
wild.
Very strange to me.
So with the win, Fessy and Mariah have the opportunity to be the captains of picking the teams. And so essentially how it goes is, let's say Fessy and Mariah are the captains and Katie and I are a team. If Fessy picks Katie, I'm automatically on the other team.
Hmm.
So Mariah does not get to pick me. She's just stuck with me.
Yeah.
So really there wasn't a lot of like choices being had as much as it was. There was, I guess, like half the amount of choices are there that you would maybe expect. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
pick Bananas #1, but then leave Nani there and put
Right.
Nani on the other team.
Right.
So you had a little bit of control over who went to the other team. And the interrogation that week was essentially Fessy and Mariah
Hmm.
sitting down and hashing out their teams ahead of time.
Yeah.
So Mariah wanted Jordan and Bananas, and Fessy was like, no. What do you think of Fessy saying no to that?
I mean, yeah, I don't blame him for saying no.
Me neither.
You can't have Jordan and Bananas on the same team. Like, that's just that is just stacking it way too high. What I think is interesting about this whole thing is that earlier in this episode, Fessy was just crying and saying like, "Oh, I'm never gonna win. Like, I feel like can do this. There's nothing. I should be the best, and I suck, and I'm a loser." And she's like, she's having his back, and she's being a good friend and a good partner to him. And then he just completely snakes her, and he's like, "I don't care. We're not partners anymore. I don't care." And it's like, wow, what a dick. What a dick.
That's what made me tweet my tweet about Fessy, which basically said that as soon as he gets the opportunity to turn on his partner, he does it every single
Yeah.
season. The first
And
opportunity.
consistently, they've been women.
I also just cannot stand like that whole first part of that episode was so annoying to me. 5 minutes in, and I was ready to turn the episode off. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me too.
if we're starting with like the Fessy show of like,
Yep.
oh my god, I haven't won, blah blah blah. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have pushed Josh last season over what, like pizza.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually about pizza, but pizza was involved. Like because Josh was defending Amber, and I don't know, like you pushed one of your so-called best friends. So you got yourself kicked off the season.
Yeah.
And then the season before you were in the final, but Casey's knee died.
Yeah. And then he like made it a poor me for himself when Casey's knee was just completely destroyed.
Casey kept going. And
Yes.
Essie sat there like a little bitch and
Yes.
kept
Yeah.
it was
That's
crying.
right. She kept eating and she was like,
Yeah,
let's
she
go.
kept,
And he just
let's
didn't do it.
go. Casey was ready to peg leg her way through the rest of that final for that man, and he just absolutely quit on her. So
He is
I
trash.
don't care. And then I can't remember what happened the season before. It was his first season. We know he lost, and he deserved. Was that when he was with Anissa? No, it would have been.
I think he was with Anissa, but they could steal each other's partners. And he ended up with Amber for a time, and he was just horrible. And he was with Nani for a little while, and he was horrible to every single one of them.
Yeah, honestly, like you don't deserve good when
No.
you are so awful to your partners.
And that's part of playing the game. Like the game is not only about you, it's about your partner. And I'm sure that these ride or dies are going to come back together again at some point, given the fact that Kenny is still in the house or still wherever he is. We don't know.
In the universe of
Yeah,
the
somewhere in the
challenge.
universe, he's not going home, sitting in purgatory somewhere. But it's like, this is all part of playing the game. Like, this is the social part of the game and working with your partner. Like, you're only as good as your partner is. So instead of being trash to them, and he was a little better to Mariah this season, I will say, than he was to his partners in the past. But like, to immediately just like throw her out and act like she's against you now, when chances are you're going to come back together at some point. The season is called Ride or Dies. And that's what happened on Bloodlines. This is basically exactly the same format, right? It's like, I'm trying to remember, but they all did come back together and run the final together. So like, let's use our brains here, Fessel.
That whole season is just marred by
My cousin.
My cousin.
Yeah. Come on, cousin.
It's like the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
Corey's cousin was his cousin, right?
Mitch?
That was on with
Yeah.
him. Yeah, that was like he was like Bizarro Kenny, if you will. Like
Yeah, he
just
was like Bizarro Kenny.
It's like, why are you here? But also, I'm greatly enjoying that you are here.
Yes. That was quite a
so-
season. Also, all-time fight of the challenge is Jenna and her cousin.
Oh, when they
That is an all-time.
your
She's like,
mom
you're
owns
just
a
jealous
bakery
because my
or
dad owns a bakery and you have a job. Yeah, it's just the best. That is one of my all-time favorite challenge fights.
Yes. Okay, so back to Fessy. You bring up a great point that like part of the game is the social game. And that's why, unless he can somehow improve that, and I just think his ego is too big to do that, he's never going to be a CT. He's never going to be a Bananas. He's never going to be a Wes. I think Jordan is kind of in a separate category because to me, I don't think Jordan has the greatest social game. I just think that like, and it's kind of come along with CT as well, where in more recent years where people are just like afraid to go against him in an elimination, that unless he's put down there by force or like you really have other people to protect, you kind of just avoid putting Jordan in because you don't want to be bad side. So I wouldn't say Jordan's social game is outstanding, but I do
Yeah.
think that the other ones are, and he's never going to be that because he doesn't have the social game. He's even said like I like show up and I do what I need to do, but like doing what you need to do is
Yeah.
also communicating and like doing a bit of politicking and creating these relationships. Like the way that he's mistreated Amber throughout these seasons. Why? Like she would be an
I
easy
this is
number
like
for you.
the most confusing. The hatred of Amber is the most confusing thing that's happened in the most recent years of the challenge because whatever is happening, we are not seeing it. Whatever it is that's making all of these people go against Amber, we do not see it. So it's just very confusing to me because on the show, sometimes she does get on my nerves a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but it's not like I'm rooting against her. It's
Right.
very
I actually
strange. Like, what are we doing? And I know we talked about
um
this last time, so not to completely rehash the same conversation, but it just week over week, I'm just always confused.
yeah, this week my friend from Wales who watches a challenge, she was like, "I don't get it. Like, why does everybody hate Amber B?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
"Listen,
don't get it
I've
either.
had this conversation multiple times. I don't have an answer for you because I we don't know. We
Yeah, we truly
there's
do not know.
I would love a better explanation than what we get.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm answering a work chat right now. I tutor and I told them I'd like send Quizlets and I sent them all last night and the dad just texted me to be like, test question mark. Like, bro, I sent this. I'm on top
Sent
of
it
my
to
game.
you.
I
Yeah.
sent everything to all three of you in a group chat last night. Smiley face.
Smiley face.
There we go. I really like them. They were at the Bears Eagles game today. I was supposed to tutor them this afternoon, but they're like, "Can we change it?
Oh,
We're going to the Bears game." And I was like, "Sure, no problem. Uh, please beat
good
the
for them.
Eagles."
Yeah, as long as they're rooting against
Didn't
the
work.
Eagles, good for them. Yeah. Unfortunate.
So yes, we've got Fessy just still being Fessy,
Yep.
and I don't know. I wouldn't mind him taking a break. Like
Me
look what's
too.
happened for us when Josh took a break. We're out here clamoring for Josh to be back. I'm just kidding. I will not clamor for Fessy to be back. I've never said one positive word about this guy.
No, he was fun to watch. I found Fessy fun to watch on Big Brother because he was so dumb, and it was like
Mhm.
fun to watch the dumb moves that his whole not only just him, his whole alliance would make the entire season. It was a good season, but on the challenge, it's just like there's no redeeming quality of him at all, and it's just like ugh. I think also his ego is just like 500 times the size that it was when he was on Big Brother because he was a nobody.
He's like the epitome of just I don't know, like I think of there's a guy I think of that I went to high school with that in the very rare instances I either like come across something of his on Facebook or social media, um, or even like see him in person. It's like
Mm-hmm.
he's still talking about the glory days of like our championship caliber high
Yeah, like
school
it's time to
football
grow
team.
up.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
get
Fessy,
that
guess
vibe.
what? Like you didn't make the NFL. You were never actually making the NFL.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
regardless of what story you say.
right.
I take it on my roommate's word who is very into sports that he
Perfect.
never would have made it. So I don't know. If Fessy wants to be successful in this game, he has to change his approach to it, in my
Yes,
opinion.
I agree. I agree completely.
Before we get into more team picking, do you think that they are trying to give Casey more opportunities to show that she is not a wet blanket this season? Because to me, it's like, okay, her commentary in the confessionals is like a little bit better than it has been in past seasons. It's nothing like Ashley funny or Amanda funny or
Hmm.
scathing or just like Anissa's a great narrator as much as she does not need to be on another season of the show.
Yeah,
Like you have people
yeah.
who are strong in the confessionals and like I think that Casey has slightly improved. She's gone from like D minus to D for me in the confessionals.
Okay, I'll
Nope,
give her
not
that.
feeling it.
I'll give
Okay.
her a D over a D minus, I guess. I guess. She's just there for me. Like,
Hmm.
she adds nothing. And the fact that, like, the only thing that she can say about Kenny is, like, that's my brother. That's my brother. That's my bro. It's like, yeah, we fucking know, Casey. You don't have to say it. And it's like it almost minimizes him to, like, nothing but her brother. And it's like, let him have a personality of his own instead of you being like, yeah, this is my brother. Oh my God, my brother. My brother. It's like, yeah, we know. We know that. Let him have his own personality outside of being your brother.
MTV didn't even allow him to have his own personality outside being her
No.
brother, though.
No. No, I
Mm.
know, but just like the way she treats him, it's like she's almost like infantilizing him. I don't know how to say that word
Yeah.
appropriately, but like it just I don't know, just like just be normal. Don't just be like my brother, it's my brother. It's just like we get it. We get
Don't
it.
be, was it uncool? Not cool?
Yeah, just be
Luann.
cool. Don't be all uncool.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I knew I
Yeah.
could go to you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not a Casey fan. However, she's she's more tolerable than she has been for me in terms of like, okay, you're still here. I'm not like mad you're still here. There's more interesting people who could be on this TV show than you,
Mhm.
but you're trying. And I just don't think she has like the entertainment level in her that I mean, like get Nani drunk and give her a cup of ramen noodles
Ramen.
and
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
got 40 minutes of a TV show right there.
True. That is true. Yeah, I mean, you would think even her just being attached to Nani would make her more interesting, but it actually makes Nani more boring.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It has the opposite
Um,
effect that you would want it to have.
I need, oh my God. I've said this too many times, right? I'm gonna say it again. I need this to be Nani's last season. I need this to be Anissa's last season. All stars only. I don't
Yep.
care if they somehow become a team together and win the final. Let this be your last season, which
Yeah, I
would
can't do it
actually be
anymore.
the most ridiculous possible ending to this whole TV show. Is
Yeah.
somehow the ride or dies mix up. You end up with Nani and Anissa on a team together, just the two of them, and they win a final.
I think that would have to like end the show. Like I don't think the show could go
Oh,
on after that.
yeah. I honestly think my TV would explode. Like it
I think
was
so too.
this no, there's no possible way.
Yeah, there's no way.
But who knows? So, oh, yes, Nani has become a bit less interesting as she's gotten older, but also like to be fair, you would also hope that that kind of happens to her, I guess. Like do you get the
Yeah.
opportunity to I don't want to say grow up, but I guess grow up.
Yeah. But with that should come like moving on to the next phase of your life, not being
Yeah.
on TV.
I think well, she did. That's why she wasn't on so many seasons a while. Like she had
She
that
was in a
gap in season.
relationship with someone, right?
She was like close to getting married and then they
Yeah.
broke up. And then
Yeah.
she came back and did more challenge seasons and met Casey. So now that Casey is on continuous seasons of the challenge,
Yep.
that it's like we're getting Nani on continuous seasons of the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't she like is she young? I think Nani's younger than me. How old is
I think she is. She's probably
I
like
think she's
31.
32. 33, so she's a year
33.
younger than
Okay.
me. Oh, but she's like she turns 34 next month.
Okay.
So she was born 1989, so like a calendar year younger. But
Okay.
um all right. I'll leave Nani alone. Okay, so teams are getting made and Nelson, I mean not Nelson. Did Fessy have anybody that he specifically was like besides Casey that he wanted definitely on his team? He didn't really lobby for too many other people, but he more lobbied against what
Yeah.
Mariah wanted.
That's pretty much what it was. He was like, there's just no way that you're getting Bananas and Jordan. There's no way. But the only person he really wanted was Casey. That it seemed like anyway, that was like his must have was Casey. And for some reason, Mariah really stuck with Jordan, which like isn't a bad choice. Like I think out of everybody there, Jordan probably is the most well-rounded challenger. But I wouldn't have been upset having Nelson. Nelson's been dominating this entire season. Like I might have said like, okay, then I'll take Nelson. Like you want Casey, then I'm going to take Nelson. And then he could have taken Bananas, and then I'd be like, okay, great, then I'm taking Jordan, and that would have like evened things out a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how we got to where we got to. I was a little bit the choosing was a little confusing. I guess they had to choose a male and then they had to choose a female. And it was just like a little confusing to me when I was watching
Yeah.
it.
I'm I don't want to say disappointed or annoyed, but there's some sort of emotion there. Um, that Mariah didn't like use Fessy's ego against him in this
I
moment
agree.
because sure, in when you look at it plainly, Mariah getting both Jordan and Bananas seems like, oh shit, how can you let her do that?
Yeah.
But then, like, if you look at the other men in the house, okay, Fessy's one of the strong men. So
Yeah.
if Fessy ends up with him and Nelson, and or even like Fessy and Devin, like,
Yeah.
because even though people are anti Devin and his performance over the years has greatly
Yeah.
increased. Like him and Tori came in second in that mini final. No, like it's not like they were far
Yeah.
behind. Or I shouldn't say we're far behind, but like they were in second. Last year he was in third in the final. There's been some other challenges where Devin has very much proven that he's taken the physical component of
Yeah.
this show far more seriously than he has in the past. And so even if it ends up being like Fessy and Devin, like there's still so much strength there that Mariah not being like, okay, but Fessy, if I get Jordan and Bananas, and you have you Fessy,
Yeah.
you like big strong Fessy, big
Yeah.
old boy here to win this challenge. You know you're gonna do it, like Fess dog. Come on, guy, like
Yeah.
take the shit out of him because all he wants is his ego stroked, like he's a fucking cat purring. That
Yeah.
I think she could have actually convinced him. Like, yeah, and then look at what Nelson's been doing. Nelson is probably the most overall athletic in that house. Like he's
Yeah.
definitely the fastest. His endurance is great. And then if you add like, hey Fessy, Puzzle King, you just figured out all the
Right.
cities from like north to south and these four
Oh my
blocks.
God, the
Like
cities. Yeah.
you could have used Fessy's ego against him here to get what you wanted. And if nothing else, Mariah, like if you are stuck with Fessy, I need you to be manipulative. I need you to really tap in and do what women are capable of. And sometimes we don't do it enough, which is to use men's egos against them.
I agree. I think it would have gotten her somewhere at least. I don't know if Fessy would have gone for it completely just because he's so selfish, but I do think it would have worked to some extent. Or what I would have liked is for her to. She picked first, or did Fessy pick first? Fessy picked first.
Fessy picked Casey first.
I
Did
was gonna say
Mariah pick Jordan first?
yeah, all right. I was gonna say if
I
she
can't
picked
remember.
first, if the coin flip came her way, what I would have liked to have seen is her just take Casey and totally get Fessy's mind all fucked up and be like, oh shit, and then I think the pendulum would have swung in her favor a little bit.
Fessy would have cried.
Yeah, like I don't know what he would have done. Like who would
He
he
would
have
have
taken
cried.
next? Jordan, and then she could take Bananas. Like the whole thing would have been flipped, but he picked first, so it wouldn't have worked out that way. But I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah, they did give Fessy first pick. I do remember that now.
It seemed like whoever had the first pick would be getting the dominating team no matter what. Like it didn't
Mhm.
feel like there was a fair way for both of them to get strong teams.
I think the only way that would have happened is if they didn't attach you to your ride or die
Yeah,
for the pick. Like
exactly.
if you could pick Jordan in isolation and then leave Anissa to be the last pick of the draft because honestly, she would have been the last pick of the draft.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Or Kenny probably would have been.
I would take Kenny over Anissa.
I think I would take Anissa over Kenny. She has
Really?
some strengths.
I just think that if you're running, like I think of the finals, like Man, I
The
host a
finals for
podcast on this.
sure. If they're doing like a team final and the team is intact, but like I do think you need people that you could throw into an elimination, and she's one. She'll probably come back though because she is good at
Mhm.
eliminations. But just the challenge that they had this past week, where they just like were shoving people off of a thing, like Anissa can do that, and she did. She
Yeah.
dominated. So she's got her strengths for sure. Just endurance and like running, it's not one of them, and she
That's
knows
the thing
that.
is, I think in individual or even small pairs, she's fine. But like, I feel like with things like this, with teams, if you are actually asked to operate as a team
Mm-hmm.
and you're only as strong as your weakest competitor, like Anissa, where's she running to?
No, it's true.
Nowhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of do you remember in All Stars? I think it might have been the first season where they like kind of ran a mini final within their teams. And then at the end they separated, which allowed them to finish as individuals. So like Derek, Kendall, I think
Right, right.
like there was a couple of people like did well, but beginning they were working in these teams. Like you're only moving as fast as Anissa.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
So in those groups, like I think that's tough. But um I won't lie to you. Or we could probably figure out who's on what team if we want to sit here and like rattle it off. But essentially, it came down to you have like brains versus bronze
Yeah.
for these two teams.
Yep. Yep. Pretty
So
rough
Fessie's
stuff for
team,
Mariah's team.
but I think that Mariah's team can do like there's been so many puzzles and equal like or other type of thinking things in a lot of these challenges that I think that that's going to help them
I
with
hope so.
whatever comes up because we see in this week's preview next week like this week was a pure strength challenge
Yeah.
essentially like Mariah's team didn't stand a chance and next week is trivia
Yeah.
so
But what is it?
hopefully
And they're on like a thing that a wheel, they're like strapped
like
to
a
a
wheel
wheel or something. Yeah, I guess that
which
doesn't
is
take. I
like
guess we'll
straight out of the
see.
Traders UK. um
Yeah. Yeah.
they did that lots of wheels in my reality TV life
Yes.
lately.
Yes.
It's
Same.
like we've just discovered that as a challenge tool.
I know, right? Exactly.
So um I do think it's interesting not to like skip over the next episode and a half that we had like a brute strength competition and then next week is brute cerebral
Yeah.
competition
Yeah.
and there is no predicting how these teams would have played out. So like was this happening was this set up already or was it like hey we have these competitions um coming up and we can place them in an order so that
Yeah.
it's how the teams are shaped to be. I would like to know that, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I think it would I would like to know that as well. Like what did they change the sequence of anything or did they pick specific challenges, daily challenges to cater to the different team strengths, I wonder. Or is it just this is how it netted out and this is it's just a happy coincidence. I don't know.
Right, because like last season, in the final elimination before the final, which is redundant, but um, I know I had mentioned this to you. The women's elimination ended up being a strength one. It was kind of like the get the ball in the basket type of thing,
Yeah.
where like but a version of it. It wasn't like straight up like run through someone,
Yeah.
um, where someone's on offense. It was almost like a combination of pole wrestle and that was Amanda and Tori, and Amanda picked who came down, so it was Tori. So like
Mm,
if it's the other elimination that the men got, which was three puzzles, like literally, here's three puzzles. Whoever finishes them first wins, which was
yeah.
Emmanuel calling down Devin. So, like, if those are flipped, then the two underdogs likely win the eliminations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you have like, that's another reason why I'm wondering if the order was pre-selected in terms of how we're doing these challenges, or did they see that
Yeah.
like, oh hey, we have a very strong team and we have a very and I say very smart liberally here.
In
We have a
comparison
very
to,
smart for the challenge team.
yeah, in
So
comparison.
we should do like challenge and then the next one,
Mm-hmm.
because it would be interesting to see the difference between the two versus like I'm still wondering, did they purposely put the strength challenge for the strong competitor and the puzzle challenge for the puzzle king? What if,
Yeah.
so I don't trust a challenge with anything. I think
Neither
they're
do I.
all
They're shady. They're very
yeah.
shady.
So I would like
Untrustworthy.
to know. I would like to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have our two teams. It's basically Brains versus Brawn, and no one left in that second episode. So
Yep.
we're on this week's episode where we've mentioned, it was basically a pure strength episode, or daily challenge, where
Mm-hmm.
you had the men from each team up on this floating dock, if you will, and the so you had like the men from one side, or from one team on one end, the men from the other team on the other end, and then connecting them was a not very wide but wide enough
Yeah.
like walkway, and um one person from each team came out. They would wrestle. You were supposed to knock the other person off. Whoever remains king of the island, king of the
Mm-hmm.
castle, king of whatever it's called, they get the point. And or no, you didn't
You
get the
lose a
point, but
life.
yeah, you kept your life. If you fell,
Yeah.
you lost a life, and if your
Yeah.
team lost their lives first, you were out. And it was best of three. So like say my team's men won, Katie's team's women won, then it would come down to that third match of
Yeah.
how they decide to do it. But we didn't need to get there because the
No.
TLDR of this was Fessie's team is a
Dominated.
brick house.
Yeah. Dominated.
Uh
It was
huh.
like embarrassing, actually,
Uh huh.
especially with the
Uh,
women.
I can't lie to you, Katie. I paid so little attention to all
Yeah.
of this. I didn't even
Yeah.
see Nani
It's fair.
die. I
Oh,
just,
I don't even know yeah, she fell off the thing, and I guess she fell in like almost head first. She just had a really awkward fall. And they made it
yeah.
seem like Nani was dying, and then they just like didn't mention it until she came back in the house. And I actually forgot she went to the hospital until she came back from the hospital.
Hmm. The only like noteworthy part, which I did think was smart on behalf of Mariah's team, was they kept Kenny for Fessy, because
Yeah.
Fessy was going to be anyone on their team. So like
Mm-hmm.
let's at least, and Kenny was likely not beating anybody on the opposite team. So
No.
let's have them face off, because then at least like we're not wasting one of our stronger men
Yeah.
on Fessy.
Yeah. And Horacio beat Bananas, right?
Yeah.
Bananas is the only one that lost from Fessy's team,
Hmm.
which I kind of love to see it. I like to have Bananas eat a little bit of humble pie.
Same. And I mean, he's gotten a bit of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I don't think he's been intentionally trying to win, to be fair. We've seen him kind of like purposefully muck up some stuff, and Nani being
Mm-hmm.
like, cut it out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they only have one daily win, right? And
Yeah. Early
again,
on.
he got stopped by 4 blocks worth of a puzzle.
Yeah. He's not really performing to his peak this season, that's for sure.
No. But yeah, Fessy's team won. Go figure.
Go
So
figure.
we find out it's a men's elimination, and the winning team is going to automatically send one of the men into the zone,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other men are going to pull daggers, and whoever gets a safe dagger chooses who they're going to save. That last
Mm-hmm.
person is going to go in.
Yep.
So we do see a little bit of politicking and gameplay here. Kenny was lobbying to be put directly in.
Yeah, that was interesting. I guess, what is he, just over it? I'd be over it too if I were him, honestly. I'd be like, I don't stand a chance here. I'm just going to go. This is stupid. Let me just go in.
Yeah.
Either that, or like I'll go and improve myself and then maybe I won't go in again. But as we see with Horacio, that's clearly not the case, because this was what, his fourth time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Horacio's just like, do what you gotta do. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Horacio is interesting to me because obviously we've talked about him a lot and I know we both enjoy him on the show, but his person, he really doesn't have a big personality at all.
No.
Like, at all. Like, he almost says nothing. He's kind of almost like Casey.
Yeah. I think he has benefited from being in a pair with Olivia.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had his whole little like Laurel thing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Which was kind of
But
weird.
yeah, he's a good competitor. And I don't like, to me, he doesn't seem like having much of a chance of really increasing his like TV
Yeah.
value.
I agree.
But I'm trying to think of like other people who've been around for a while and why, like, who aren't in drama, who aren't hooking up. Like, for example, we've got Darrell, who a
But he's
lot
just so funny. He just has a
right,
big
and
personality.
that was the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
Is like Darrell's hilarious in the confessionals, where we don't really get that from Horacio.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. It's like his personality is a little dry. He's quiet. Even at nights out, like, I think it was even this episode where he's like, I'm not going to politic or whatever, like, and put on a personality. Because they were all like, there is a social game. And he's just like, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you're on TV. Horacio, you're on
Yeah.
TV. Like, let's remember you're on TV. Like, everybody needs to do themselves a favor and remember we're making a television show here. So we need you to do something.
And that's
But
why
his story, I think, is more interesting because he's been in the elimination so many times and he's had to
Yes.
come back so many times. If that wasn't happening, he would be just as boring as Casey and Kenny. And if he didn't have Olivia as a partner.
yeah, he's not exactly like, I'm not rooting against him by any means, but I'm not like excited for him to be on TV. You know what I mean? Like, good on you for being a rookie. Good on you. Because also, like, 2 of his 4 wins were propelled by everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of like Horacio for Rookie of the Year, MVP type of things. And he's won 4 eliminations. I'm sorry, but Wes had his ass dragged out to that obstacle course how many times?
Yeah.
And came back. There was no one there helping him win shit.
Yeah. It's true. 2 of his wins are kind of invalidated.
Yeah, like, yes, you won. However, anybody who went down against Turbo and Turbo's partner were going to win in that instance because nobody wanted Turbo back.
Yes.
And then no one was really helping Michelle or Jay. Like, they were just the pawns who actually had to do the physical labor of getting those teams out. And like, sure, could Michelle and Jay, that's her team name now, could Michelle have won? I think that they could have more likely won than Turbo and Tamara in that situation, just because like when you have 20 people memorizing things for you versus just 2, like, sure. And if Jay and Michelle had been able to hear each other, I think that they actually
I think they would have had a one-up on that puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a very Survivor-like puzzle. Like, I think they do Towers of Hanoi on Survivor sometimes, or something similar to it, or those types of puzzles.
Yeah, you just prep for that type of stuff.
Yeah, like, that's the type of thing you practice when you go on Survivor. Like, people practice those puzzles pretty often. Yeah.
If it had straight up just been like, complete this puzzle and there's no wheel and everything, like, I would pick Michelle and Jay 10 out of 10 times.
Me too.
So
for sure.
Yeah, I like the team Olivia and Horacio. I think they balance each other out well. As an individual, Horacio, like, I appreciate that you are in here putting in work. I just do not like the disrespect I am seeing to Wes as a full-on Wes fan.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, like, yeah, cool. I see what you've done, Horacio, but like, don't forget what Wes did.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And honestly, even the elimination between Raven and Johnny and the 2 of them, like, Olivia won that.
Oh, right.
Olivia won that.
Yeah, it was like the double hall brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but before we get into this elimination, because I do want to
Yep.
talk about it, we had Kenny being like, just throw me in. I would rather. I think there is a bit of like ego to be saved when you aren't being when you
Yeah.
like someone isn't choosing you when they pull the safe dagger. Like, oof, you are literally stabbing me and figuratively
Yeah.
stabbing me with this thing. Like,
Yeah.
ouch. And because who's gonna save Kenny?
Right. Like no one say you may as well put yourself in so you don't have to feel that like, oof, no one wants me
Yeah.
here anyway. Like let me just do it.
And then, like we said, Horacio comes in and is like, do what you got to do. I've come back every time I've been in there. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
afraid of it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if Jordan or Devin came in next, but
I think
Jordan
it was
played,
Devin,
I
and
think it
Devin was
was
just like,
Devin.
I'm just not saying anything that makes sense, but they're eating it up, which actually made me laugh. And you know, I don't like Devin, but that made me laugh. The responses that he was giving truly made no sense.
He's like, I'm an open book. And then they'd ask questions and he would answer in like
In
Yoda
riddles.
riddles.
Yes, yes, yes. Famously, I hate Yoda, which makes sense because I hate Devin too. So yeah, we can call them Yoda riddles. Riddles.
I'm still I'm still a Devin fan. I I'm losing so I don't know if I could say that I'm a full-on Tory fan. I've just never really understood um especially like GamerVev and crew are like
Oh
so anti-Tory. It's
yeah.
almost like calm the fuck down. And I think that's part of the reason where I've been like, I don't mind Tory. I don't get this hatred. But
Hmm.
I've been reading some things lately that kind of have me questioning shit. And I don't know if you've been seeing this. So
Was it about
let's talk
Challenge
Tory.
Mania?
Well, that came up. That's part
Okay.
of it. So at Challenge Mania Miami, someone asked Josh like what happened with Ashley that got Ashley kicked off last season
Yeah.
because Josh said like I was and this wasn't at Challenge Mania and somewhere else I've read like Josh said like I was lobbying hard for her to stay. Like I did not want her to get kicked off.
Yeah.
And what we've kind of been able to put together is she might have said something to Josh or about Josh in front of everyone um, that was both maybe degrading and potentially maybe even like possibly not saying definitely possibly outing him about part of his sexuality. So
Yeah, what I had heard, I didn't watch the season, but all of
they
the
didn't
things
show any of it.
well, that's what I read too, is that they didn't show it, but everything that I had heard is that Ashley used a homophobic slur to talk about Josh or used it in referring to Josh or something like that. That's what I heard. That was
Yeah,
my understanding of what Ashley did, but I again only heard that on the internet or whatever. But it seems like there's
yeah.
still a lot of open questions to what actually happened.
I think that I mean, obviously the people in the house know, but no one has
Yeah,
said anything concrete about it. And even Amanda has not, she didn't
defended Ashley,
necessarily like
right?
defend Ashley. She more
Yeah.
just was like, Ashley's a good person. This was a mistake. And
Hmm.
but at Challenge Mania, Tori was like, Ashley should not, or Josh gave a very like political, diplomatically
Hmm.
sound answer. He did
Hmm.
not say anything negative about Ashley. He didn't say what happened, but did like reference something occurred. And Tori spoke up and was like, she shouldn't be allowed back on the show.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But she
But
hangs
then
with
is
Camilla.
exactly the next point, which is
And Jordan is,
Jordan.
I mean, we know Jordan's past. Like, he's very problematic in the past. Maybe he's changed, but he's done a lot of problematic things in the past.
Correct. And yeah, people are saying how Tori is like, she was one of the first people to comment on Leroy's post about the racism he faced while on challenge, but also is holding like an online baby shower for Camilla and
Yeah.
just like where what are your morality lines, your standards, like what are you
Yeah.
expecting out of people? Because the other thing that's confusing to me is as much as I don't want Anissa on any further seasons, to me she is the most like sound person in terms of who she is, what she stands for. And if you're going to talk shit or you're going to run your mouth or you're going to say hateful stuff, she's going to be the first person that speaks up. To
Hmm.
me, she has that type of reputation. I don't know if you would agree.
I feel like Tori comes and goes with the wind.
Well,
That's just the vibe I get. She gives me very like, I don't like to use the word pick me, but like she does give me pick me vibes, and she's very much like it depends on who she's riding with for her to say one thing or another. Like I feel like she's a different person each season, and I feel like she kind of just goes with whatever which way the wind is blowing. Unless it's Anissa, then I feel like she's like firmly with Anissa.
well, so that's kind of like the point I'm making is I don't understand then because if her best friend is truly Anissa, to me, Anissa wouldn't put up with this bullshit in a person like
Yeah.
Tori. You know what I mean? Like, why are you okay with someone like Camilla, but then not okay with someone like Ashley? Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm confused by like who Tori actually is because I'm kind of using Anissa as my like North Star here on on it. Like, okay, if Anissa rides with you, like Anissa doesn't put up with like
Yeah. Well, she's
hatred.
riding with Jordan,
Right. Well,
Anissa,
that I
and
think that's out of necessity because we know that they were paired together because
yeah. But I still think I don't know. What I get from Anissa is that Anissa likes to portray that she is that person, but Veronica actually is that person. And
yeah, that's
Anissa
actually
is
very true.
presenting as that person, but like yeah, Veronica actually is that. And we've seen
Maybe
her do that before, but I don't recall. I think Anissa wants people to think that of her, but she's just playing the popularity game too, and she has all these external relationships, and she's gonna give her friends more of a pass than she would give someone that she doesn't actually like. Where I think Veronica is more of like the actual person who would stand up for things, like stand up against things like that,
yeah.
regardless of who it is.
I think and maybe this is where I'm mistaken is every time Anissa's spoken up, at least in my like what I'm recalling, it's when she's been like directly involved in terms of
Yeah,
was it Trishelle who made like a comment about her being Jewish and it being confusing or something? Do you remember
maybe.
that?
Yeah, I remember
Because she
the
wears the Jewish star
yes, yeah,
necklace, and someone made a comment to her, if it wasn't Trishelle, sorry,
yeah. I don't remember
who
if it
was
was
like,
Trishelle, but I
"How do you
remember
like
that
yeah, like,
happening.
you don't know like, that your identity is confusing, but you don't e" like, that type of thing, and she spoke up in that, but maybe that's I'm just giving her too much credit, and, like, you're right, Veronica will say whatever versus, Anissa, maybe it's when it involves her.
Yeah, I think it's just that Anissa wants to stay on the show and wants to stay like in the clique.
Hmm.
Same as Tori. And I think that's why they kind of like ride together so hard. They're very similar, I think, in my opinion, in that way. Whereas like Veronica, I don't think she cares about the show one way or another. It's like she's just gonna say whatever it is. And if she comes back, she comes back.
I also think that Tori is Anissa's way in to remain safe because Tori
Yeah.
is so like there was just a video of Casey, Nani, Tori, I can't remember who the fourth person was, all hanging out. Um
Ugh.
and so oh, maybe Anissa was there. Maybe she was the
I
fourth.
see, like, this is what is wrong with the challenge in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like we gotta get rid of these clicks that are clicks off the show. Like, cast one of them and
Hmm.
don't cast the rest of them. Like, I just don't need to see them all on the same show. Like, it's just not interesting.
Yeah. I agree with you. Um So yeah, I say that to say I've there's been things about Tori this season where like I really liked how she was speaking up about mental health earlier this
Hmm.
season. I think she is not having the easiest go of it, having Jordan in the house and Jordan just being like, "Yeah, I like making out with Nerys and
Yeah.
cuddling her with her." And like, I mean, Jordan made a comment along the lines of, "Well, I've had to watch this on TV for the last year." However, I'm going to fight back on that on behalf of Tori.
Okay.
I think there is a distinct difference when you are in the same house together and choosing to do those actions versus
Yeah.
like Tori's in there by herself. And yes, Jordan can see this, Jordan will hear about it, but I don't think that she like that is as bad of a thing to do as when you I mean nights before you're literally like laying in bed together naked
Yeah.
saying that you still love each other and then you're making out with Nerys. Like to me those are two different crimes.
Yeah. I'm on kind of neither of their sides here. I think, yeah, I agree with that. I also think it's probably not easy for Jordan to be in the house also with Fessy, given everything that's gone on with Tori and Fessy after or
Mhm.
during, right at the very end of their relationship, whatever the timeline is. I don't know. I think the whole thing is I don't care about either one of them, to be honest, or their relationship, and I just don't need it to be a storyline.
Yeah,
That's kind of where
unfortunately
I'm
it will
at with it.
be. Um but I do Jordan making those comments I was like,
Yeah.
it's not like to you to have the for him to have the backbone to do those things like while Tori is right there, like
Yeah.
I think is entirely different than and
Yeah.
what she had done. But um anyway, all this to say, we get back to where we were out of the partnership of Tori and Devin. I mean, given I was always like good with Devin, but like my Devin stock has risen a bit this season. And
Mm.
while there's been like glimmers of things I appreciate about Tori, it's just like the behind the scenes stuff about Tori that is really bringing what I liked about her, or maybe not what I liked about her, but like it's hard to root for Tori while also knowing those things.
Yeah.
Where I think like Devin is who Devin is. Like
Yeah.
if you don't find that personality to be entertaining on TV and like I get it. I'm not going to sit out here and defend Devin and try to convince people like Devin, but right now I'm in a place where like if Devin's on next season, I'm happy about it. Um
Mm.
and
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
I guess I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't know.
I think he's funny. He cracks me
He
up.
does make me laugh sometimes, which is why I feel like I could tolerate him more, but I'm never rooting for him. Like,
Mhm.
there's never been a time where I'm like, yes, Devin.
Yeah, I was impressed by him in the season finale last year. Um,
Maybe I just
I
need to
told
watch
you he
that
memorized
season.
that 20-digit code
Yeah.
all on his own, and um,
I think he's well rounded as a player.
yeah, I also think he treats like he's the anti Fessy, where he does treat his partners well. I also think
Yeah.
that he's like done a pretty good job of being a good friend to Tori in this season
Yeah.
in terms of just like what she's going through. Because like last season, him and Tori, so Emmanuel and Devin were in the elimination together, and she was like helping Emmanuel out, and
Well, they were
Devin's
hooking
like,
up, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but Devin's supposed to be one of her best friends, and
Yeah.
she's helping, and she's like, I want them both to win. Like Nelson called her out for it. Nelson was like on her ass um, about it, but they like last season to me, Devin was being a bit selfish in some of his moves, where this season, I think Devin has kind of figured out how to play that middle game a little bit better. So also like seeing that improvement, I'm kind of a fan of, but I mean, overall he makes me laugh. I
Yeah.
feel like I could listen. I wish he had more confessionals because he's
Yeah.
just funny. But
Yeah.
Devin goes in and is like, I'm just saying a whole bunch of
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying. Uh, and then Jordan goes in and is like, listen, you know, if you put me down there, I'm coming back. Do you want me to be angry at you? Do you
Yeah.
want me to come back angry? And he's like, and when I come back, our team is coming back stronger.
Yep.
So make a good decision here.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
Of
I think the approach from Jordan is Right. I mean, there's no one on the team, on their team, that he's not beating. Maybe Horacio would give him like a little bit of a run for his money, depending on what the elimination was. But I think Jordan has it in the bag. Even this elimination, I think Jordan would have had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Depending
Oh,
on,
definitely.
yeah, no, I think he would have. I think he would have. Because I was even thinking like maybe with his hand, it might have been a little more difficult. But we've seen Jordan beat Zach with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And, so
Yeah. No, I don't think Jordan would have lost this to anyone. I think Devin could have maybe also I think anyone would have held their own, but I would
yeah,
still bet on Jordan.
yeah,
So we leave the investigation, interrogation, whatever the hell they're doing in there. I forget the word at this point. Interrogation. We get to the zone, and every single person on the team has to vote, which it seemed like that took Fessy's team by surprise because
yeah.
everyone's like, so what are we doing? What are we doing? But then, like, the
Yeah, and
whole
it seemed
team
like
knew to
Nelson and
vote.
Olivia were left out of whatever the grand master plan was to throw in Horacio, and they were not happy about it.
Wasn't there someone else who seemed left out?
Yeah, there was. I don't remember. It was the two of them, and
Probably, maybe Chauncey.
yeah, probably Chauncey. It was probably Chauncey.
It would make sense that Chauncey
I
was
think it
left
was
out of it.
Chauncey. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about Chauncey, to be completely honest with you.
After Amber's like, now he has his chance to like put his own spin and name on the
Yeah.
game. I don't know if he's going to,
I
but
don't know.
the after everybody was very confused that it wasn't just going to be like, okay, Fessy, speak up and say. Which I don't want Fessy to be team captain. Like he won one challenge. If
This is
we're gonna
way too much power.
Yeah, I don't like the way that it's being framed currently, and I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a revolution on it, and not that's really happening with Mariah's team. We haven't had enough like team dynamic, especially in power, to see that
Hmm.
how it is. But right now, it feels like it is Fessy and his team.
Yeah, I agree. What I would have preferred, I think, is if like instead of letting them pick the teams, they got to just like randomly pick someone instead of being able to like
Uh,
strategize about it. I feel like it's just way too. It just gave them way too much power just for winning a challenge. Like this is crazy to me.
I wouldn't mind. I don't mind like the schoolyard ish type of pick because I wouldn't call it a genuine schoolyard pick. But what I think would have been cool is how we've seen things happen in All Stars where it's like pick your team captain, and if
Yeah,
your team loses,
then
then
the
the
captain
captain
has to go
is
in.
automatically in the
Yeah,
elimination. Um, because then I think that that adds a dynamic and
yeah,
also changes the power and doesn't keep it in the hands of the team who won that one challenge to allow the
yeah.
teams to be created this way.
I would have been. Yeah, I would be fine if they switched the teams up.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I just think it gives them way too much of a a power trip. But I agree. I don't want it to be like Fessy's team, like Team Fessy moving forward. Like, please, we don't
Right?
need
Can't we
this.
name one of them like Team Ride and the other one Team Die or something like
Yeah,
that?
preferably. Yeah, I was gonna say something rude, but I'll keep it to myself.
So everybody votes, and everyone except for Olivia votes Horacio. And Olivia had no idea that that vote was going that way.
Hmm.
Nelson made it seem like there hadn't been a real conversation of who they were
Yeah,
actually going to put in, but I'm not sure what happened, and hopefully we find out. It either seems like Fessy, who voted first, went with Horacio, and then people just jumped on board with it, or like Nelson's saying, there's
a team
a
within a
group within
team.
this, yeah, making the
Yeah.
decisions. What do you think happened here?
I am thinking that it's probably more what Nelson said, only because obviously those interviews were filmed after all of that happened. So that makes me think that maybe more will be coming from this like team within a team. And they're just kind of like setting the stage that, oh, these people are working more closely together than maybe we thought they were.
And if Nelson's on the outside of it, I hope.
That would be shocking. That's the most shocking part of it to me, that Nelson would be on the outside of it.
See, to me, it's not. Just because if like Fessy's at the helm, Fessy doesn't
Yeah.
respect Nelson.
Well, Betsy doesn't respect anybody,
Yeah, it's true. Just Casey.
just Casey. And even that, it's like in his own way.
Yeah. So, they vote Horacio in, and then down at the daggers, Devin pulls first, and he pulls a safe dagger. And there was a bit of conversation earlier in the episode where basically Jordan doesn't really trust Devin. Devin doesn't really understand why Jordan doesn't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think Jordan, they imply that like Jordan doesn't trust Devin because like Devin's team Tori in Devin and Jordan, or in
Yeah.
Jordan and Tori. And um I do think that like Devin does kind of get a bit of a Wes reputation in the
Mm-hmm.
like you're a snake, you bet, when really he doesn't. Like if you're with him, he expects you to be with like that you're with him and he's with you. And
Yeah.
um I think it's, I mean, in the same way that like Ashley Mitchell has that reputation where like literally the only person she's ever fucked over is Hunter, and politely he deserved it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um but as I don't know if my friend from like high school slash college was quoting a TV show when he said this, but I still say it to this day. We lived together in college, and he used to say it a lot, like, "Oh, you do something once and you get a reputation." And I don't even know if Devin has really done that something once. I just think he like pissed off the wrong people when he like wasn't with Johnny,
Yeah,
and
I think so
like
too.
he
I
just
think so too.
wasn't on the right side of things. And by right side, I say that very loosely. I don't think that Johnny Banana's side is always the right side of things by any means, but I just think he like made the people in power mad early on in his challenge career, and he's been trying to like change that. And we see that. He's like purposefully on vacations with fucking Josh Martinez. Like
Yeah.
because Josh somehow has all this social capital within these games. Um that in the moment where he pulls a safe dagger, he's like, I have this reputation for like being a snake and going against my word and doing shady things, and I have the opportunity to do that right now. And then they cut to a commercial, and they come back, and he's like, but I'm not going to do that. And he saves Jordan.
That was like the most obvious cut. By the way, I was like, oh, he's
Right,
saving Jordan. Why would he save Kenny? It doesn't make any
right.
sense. Yeah.
And also, just like team wise, if you get rid of Kenny, you strengthen your team.
Exactly. There's literally no reason to keep Kenny on the team. No
Yeah.
reason. Kenny wasn't really a slouch though in the elimination. Like he did okay.
Yeah. Again, like this was apparently when Horacio is not on um I don't know what the version of it is. Fredo had told us before, but it seems like it's like American Ninja Warrior, except not
Right.
American,
Right.
and is not playing soccer. The other thing he's doing is like construction work. So this is
Yes.
like
He's a
right
carpenter
in
or
line
something
with
like that,
things
right?
that, yeah. Uh, who was saying? I think it was Devin who's like he's like an electrician and the most handsome electrician of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jordan too is just like, yeah, he's like a sexy construction worker.
Yeah.
Um, so this was something that some of the stuff that he had experience with before. I don't think Kenny did bad by any means.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, it didn't seem like it was the hardest elimination ever. Like I don't think you need construction experience to be able to just use an axe to and know what tool to pick to take off some bolts
Did you see
from a
these
wall.
clowns try to row a boat earlier this
Well, it's
season?
true. You know, it's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Great point.
So yeah, essentially what they had to do was get through a few different types of walls. So the first one you could just like kick and punch through, and then you had to use a different tool for each one. So there was like a pickaxe, there was bolt cutters, and there was a wrench. So the pickaxe, they just like basically chiseled their way through.
Yeah.
The bolt cutters, they had to cut locks and then
Hmm.
get the locks off the door to open that. And then the wrench, they had to unscrew like I 10-ish bolts.
Yeah. It looked like a bunch. I don't know how many.
Yeah. And
I
then
liked
once you
this
got,
elimination. It looked interesting.
yeah, it's I liked, well, one, this is one that like it doesn't the audience can't interfere. So if you are a
Yep.
purist in that, then
Yep.
congratulations, you got one. Um,
Yeah.
and really anyone could win. But it's
Yeah.
not like too carnival game-ish though. You know what I mean? Um, I'm thinking of, do you remember in All Stars last season when Derek won the one where like
You had
you
to
had to like lay on the ground and like
yeah,
hit
and
the
put
ball
yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah.
hole, and Naya did it in her first shot. It took Derek like a year
Yes.
to do it,
Yes.
which was like a straight up carnival game. There was something before it where
I think
you
it
had
was
to
a
like,
puzzle.
yeah, you had the star where you had to
Yeah.
navigate it through a maze, and
Because
then
Derek was very excited that he won a puzzle.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like when you got that out, you used that like as your pool stick. And
Yes.
so it wasn't, I like that it wasn't like straight up carnival game. I like that they're not straight up headbangers, that they're like anyone could have won this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Unfortunately or fortunately, Kenny didn't.
Kenny did not. Kenny did not. He came close. It seemed like he came a little close. He caught up. He made some ground. He made up some
Yeah.
ground. TJ seems to love Kenny.
Yeah, he's like, you're the sweetest person that's ever been on this show.
Wild.
Also, when are we getting TJ and Emmy? Because like the fact that Kenny walks, like leaves the zone, right? And then after is like, yeah, I couldn't say this in front of him, but like you destroyed him.
Yeah. Yeah. TJ's like really on one this season.
Just the last like year or so with all,
Yeah.
or not with All
Challenge
Stars,
USA.
Challenge USA.
Yeah.
Just give this man an award.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
deserves
he's
it.
doing great work. He's doing great work.
I love TJ.
Me too. He's great.
It was his birthday recently. Happy belated,
Oh,
TJ.
happy belated, TJ. Our namesake.
Uh huh. If we could get TJ on TJ Hates Quitters, whew, I might retire after that.
Yeah. I bet we could send an email or two.
I know that when he was on Challenge Mania, they made it seem like it was a big deal that they got
Yeah.
him. And like Derek knows TJ.
That's
and
true.
they are the challenge podcast.
That's
So
true. That's true.
besides the official one,
Besides
but
yeah.
fuck that one.
Yeah.
No offense against the hosts. I like you all as individuals and even on my television, but I do not like the product you put out.
Yeah. Agreed. I haven't listened, but I agree. Just because I know an official podcast for this show is not going to be giving me what I wanted to give me.
Right. Well, Reddit gives me way more.
Yeah, exactly.
So after Horacio wins, Kenny leaves and TJ hypes up Horacio like 4 wins, you're killing it. And Horacio rejoins his team. Everyone leaves the zone, but then Kenny comes like walking back in. And this is like the perfect person though to have lose first in this instance because
Yeah.
Kenny's never been eliminated. If
Right.
it was like, I don't know, Jordan or Devin who had lost for their team, they'd be like, why the fuck are you bringing me back in here? What's going on? Where Kenny's just like, okay,
You're
so like,
where am I
go?
going? And am I walking in a circle? What's happening? Wait, this
Like,
looks strangely like the same exact place I just was 2 minutes ago. This is weird.
It's just like he doesn't know the process for what happens when you get eliminated. So, I mean, to be fair, it would be, if for either of them, it would have had the same effect, I think, for television. But I'm kind of glad that it was an instance of someone who hadn't been eliminated before, because you could like see the genuine confusion for the whole thing versus if you tell Devin to go back in to the to the zone, he's gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm not gone. Like that dynamic is totally different.
Yes, I agree.
But TJ says, like, listen, this is all about your ride or dies. You're not dead till your ride is also dead or something. You don't have a flat tire unless your ride has a flat tire.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We're kind of left to assume that he's going to be put in some sort of redemption house unless Casey also gets eliminated. Then in that instance, maybe they're both eliminated.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if Casey makes it to the final or however long, the thing is, I don't know how long these teams are going to be split up, but it's obviously they're going to come back together. I wonder, like, is he going to have to compete somewhere else before coming back, or is it just truly dependent on Casey staying in the game?
I don't know. We'll have
Yeah.
to see. But Kenny is not officially gone. He does not get to go home to his wife and baby just yet.
Meanwhile, I feel like he's probably like, damn it, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, oops, this wasn't for me. I'm ready to
Can I
go.
at least get my phone? Can I watch
Yeah. Like, can
TV?
I like call my house
Yeah.
at least? Call my family?
But that's where we end. Next week is trivia, and I'll always be a fan of trivia. I'm hoping that Mariah's team wins. I would love to see this even out a little bit.
Yep. Me too. Me too. I really do not want to see a steamroll of this strong team against Mariah's team. That's not interesting to watch at all.
No. Um, Hopefully not. But
Yeah.
trivia next week, we might see some Tori Nerys drama, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping that that's drama. I don't think
Here's the
I don't
thing. Nerys doesn't owe Tori shit.
right. And Olivia
So
said that to her.
yeah, like who are you? Like we just met. I don't know. Do they know each other? They were both on Are You the One. They might know each other, but still, it's like I'm not getting the
They
sense
were,
that they're besties.
it's not like Anissa's fucking Jordan.
Right,
It's
right, right.
um yeah, I just think that like for Nerys the downfall of it is like and Tori kind of put Jordan on blast for this. Like, is Jordan going to protect Tori or is he going
Right,
to protect Nerys? Or like is he
right.
gonna try and like sidestep all of it? Where I think that by doing this, like the only thing she's hurting is her that she should be concerned about hurting is her game.
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, I don't think the responsibility lies with Nerys. I think the responsibility lies with Jordan.
yeah. 1,000%. Nerys doesn't owe Tori anything.
Yeah. But of course, Tori is in like the alliance of the last like
Yeah,
5 seasons of this show. So
right.
hopefully Nerys is able to navigate it.
I
I
hope so.
do enjoy Nerys. Someone was trying to like call her out for shit on Reddit
I
because
saw that, but
it
I
like
don't
didn't make a
didn't
lot
read
of
too much.
sense.
I didn't read
Yeah,
exactly what it was. Something about her like faking drama or something. I don't know.
I
I didn't
think
read the whole thing.
Johnny, like not bananas,
Yeah, the other
like
Johnny.
called her one of them called the other one fake or whatever, and then they're like in an Instagram
Hmm.
picture together after the reunion, like taking a shot together, and it's like no one's
Who
gonna come
cares?
in. It like who? This is literally what reality TV is. Like,
Yeah,
have you ever
literally.
watched
Who
Housewives? These
cares?
people hate each other one season, they get lunch the first episode, the next season, and
Right,
then they're best friends.
right, right.
This is how this
Exactly.
works.
Exactly. Let's
But
relax,
yeah, it's
everybody.
like I don't understand. And it's like, oh, she's creating fake drama again next season. To me, Nerys has earned her spot on next season.
Yeah, same. I would love to see her back. She's been really good. She's been
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
entertaining to watch.
Absolutely. Do we have anything else we need to say about the last 3 weeks of the challenge?
I can't believe we haven't spoken about the show in 3 full episodes. That feels
Yeah,
crazy to
I
me.
don't think it was like 3 calendar weeks, but it was 3 episode.
Yeah, maybe that's why it doesn't feel as long. No, I don't think so. We'll see what happens moving forward and see
Yeah.
how this format changes and see what happens with sweet little Kenny. Normal guy
Yeah,
Kenny.
we'll see what happens. And I mean, imagine Casey goes home next
Oh,
episode.
please don't get me excited.
I There's potentially a chance she's on the Braun team. So if the
It's
Brains
true.
team, oh, let's hold on, let's think about this for a second because next week is a women's elimination versus
Yep.
because it was a men's, and that means it's either Casey, Tori,
Yep.
Anissa,
Anissa,
and
Olivia.
Olivia. So Olivia's gonna get put in next week.
Yeah, but Olivia,
Well,
again, no slouch in an elimination. Any one of those, I mean, Anissa, even though she's not the best challenger, she dominates eliminations. So any one of them, regardless of which four of them goes in, any one of them could come back, in my
okay,
opinion,
so then
for the
the
women.
other team would be Like, who would each person vote for? Okay, so we've got Mariah. Mariah's not going to vote for Olivia.
Right.
So she'll vote for one of the other three.
Hmm. I don't
And
think
then,
Nerys is voting for Olivia.
yeah, Nerys isn't voting for Olivia. So
Mm-mm.
um, Jordan is probably just not voting I'm assuming he's not going
He
to
would
vote for
probably vote
Nisa.
Olivia
Yeah, he would. Well, imagine he dropped a Casey vote.
or
Oh,
Casey.
okay.
Yeah.
But he'd probably vote Olivia. Devin is going to vote for Olivia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horacio's not voting for Olivia.
I could see Devin potentially voting for Casey.
Oh, I
Does he have
couldn't.
any loyalty to
Yeah,
Casey?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think he's put in too much work to be good with the Big
Mm.
Brother alliance for him to fuck it up on like a
Mm.
something that's not like this
God,
isn't
Big
going to
Brother ruined the
affect.
show.
Yeah, I think him putting in Casey would have, or voting for Casey would have such a negative impact that at this point, it is
Yeah.
not worth taking that shot.
Makes sense.
Um, who else is on that team?
Horacio is voting
Yeah,
for
not Olivia.
not Olivia.
Because really, what's going to have to happen is, Amber and Nani.
Yeah.
Amber, dude, imagine
Amber could vote for
Amber.
whoever. I mean, like, she has no.
She has no allegiance to
No. I
anyone.
don't think she's voting for Olivia.
Amber could be the swing vote.
She could be.
I think it's going to be 3-3, and then it's what Amber decides.
Oh, I would love that for her.
I would, but here's the thing. Amber just wants to be liked so badly that
Yeah,
I
that's
could see
true.
her not going against Casey. I mean, it would be the ultimate if she was the deciding vote for Casey to go in.
I would love that.
Oh my gosh. I am
Especially
it's
because
so
Casey's
excited.
such a fucking hater for no reason.
Right. But the amount of times we've seen, like, I love you so I feel like I even saw something like post this season of maybe I'm misimagining things or whatever, but I could actually see it being like 3-3 and then Amber is the swing vote.
Could be. That would be
I'm
interesting.
hoping for that drama. Let's
Yeah,
do
I'm
it.
hoping give us something interesting. I would love that.
I hope we called it. I hope we predicted it.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say. Is I don't think I have anything else challenge. Oh, I do have something. Not slightly. It is challenge related.
Okay.
Did you see that CT's wife, the alimony she's asking for is like out of this world?
Yes, I saw Zach's tweet, who I completely hate the shit out of Zach, but his tweet was
Hmm.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where he said she took lessons from Bananas and Ashley to
Uh-huh.
take his money. Yeah. Wow. That's
So
a lot.
I don't know how alimony divorce works. Like, there's a reason that I am 34 and not married is
Yes.
because
Yes, I don't know.
I don't want to know how
I
any of
also
those
don't know.
things work.
Yeah.
There's certain things I just like refuse to figure out in life.
Uh-huh.
That's one of them. Health insurance is another, which is probably
Mm-hmm.
stupid, but
I know
uh,
more about health insurance than I know about alimony for sure.
yeah, me too.
I'm
But
trying
I
to see if
do
I can
not.
pull up Zach's tweet.
But essentially, I didn't read too much into it. But from what I understand, because of the amount of money that CT has made over the last couple of years, specifically from the challenge, in addition, he was in a movie. I don't know if that movie
Yes.
like saw the light of day anywhere, but
Yeah, I don't know.
or if it's even come out yet. I'd have to figure that out. But CT is in like a very prosperous time in his life financially. And so she's asking for so much money
Yeah.
because she's able to based off of the income that he's had where like oh man that sucks and given like I don't know anything about the dynamic of whatever like I'm not judging that divorce in the
Yeah, I
slightest.
don't
I
know
didn't even
anything.
watch the marriage special.
No, me neither.
I'm like blindly a CT supporter.
Same.
But that is it's a tough time to get divorced based off of your recent income, seeing that he won back-to-back seasons of the challenge.
Yeah, it's rough. She is asking for 5 types of alimony, which I didn't even realize there was different types of alimony,
Imagine, yeah,
and
I didn't
wants
know
the
there was more than
house.
one.
Exclusive use of their shared Florida home as well as their 2022 Mercedes truck. And she wants ultimate say over most and or all of the decisions over the minor child. Wild.
I don't know. Like I'm under the impression that CT loves his kid. So I hope that
Me
it works
too.
out in a way where he's happy with it.
Me too.
But
CT is well able to earn money and continue to support Lily. Lily's response reads, Lily is without sufficient funds to support herself without assistance. She goes on to say, in addition to or in lieu of regular alimony, she also needs rehabilitative alimony, which would pay for her to get education, training, etc., to improve her ability to get a job and an income. More like that enjoyed by CT as a result of Lily's past contribution to CT's career and education. She also wants bridge the gap alimony to help her transition from married life to single life. She also requested durational alimony, which will go for the amount of time they were married, which is about 4 years. Temporary alimony, which would provide her with an income during the divorce proceedings, as well as lump sum alimony, where she would just get a set amount of cash from CT. That's truly wild. I mean, shoot for the moon, I guess.
the only pro to this is CT's got to make money. So I'll see you on season 39, CT. Welcome
Well,
back.
especially if she gets everything she's asking for. She's also
Right.
asking for a share of his retirement benefits and pension, which who knew the challenge was paying a pension? Not me.
Yeah,
And that he
he's like
continues to
20
pay for her
something years
medical
old.
insurance.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not getting married.
No, this is wild to me.
I saw a tweet that said, like, don't get married to someone that you couldn't get divorced from, like, cleanly. Or I can't say the word that was used, and not because it's a bad word to say. I just don't know if I can pronounce it correctly. So struggle with, or like fix what I'm trying to say here. Is it amicably?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the internet words, or not like internet words, but like words that like you read, you know what they mean? If I were to write a paper, I could use it in this
Yeah.
paper in context. But if you say it out loud, I'm like, I don't know
Yep.
this language.
Yeah, I feel like I
That's
had
one
one
of those.
earlier in this podcast. I don't remember. What did I say?
Yeah,
Infantilizing?
that one.
Yeah, like I don't
Exactly.
even know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a much longer word where this one's like 6 letters. I'm like,
I get it.
amicably.
We all have them.
Um, so yeah, I saw a tweet that said that, and I feel like CT did not consider that in his
No.
marriage to Lily.
No. This is rough for him. Hopefully things work out in a fair way. Let's just say that. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with the two of them. I don't know what CT did, if he did anything. So,
Right. I almost don't want to know. Like, let my ignorance be bliss
same.
there. Don't tarnish CT for me.
Agreed.
He at least has behaved on the challenge seasons.
Yeah.
We haven't heard any because we would have heard of that.
Yeah,
for
we would have
sure.
heard. Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely.
give me a single CT who needs to win money on season 39. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm in.
That's a CT we haven't seen
Yeah, I'm in
in
on
quite
that.
some time. Like, because when he was in his single days, like he had the whole relationship with Diem,
Yep.
and then when he was like with Lily, he was. I don't even know if he was on the show. I think that he was kind of like
He came back
those were
after he
years we
had his
weren't
son,
seeing
right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is give me that CT. We haven't seen that one. We haven't seen that one in a long time.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Same. All right. Anything else we need to bring up?
No, I don't think so. I think we about covered it.
I agree. Then Katie, now that you're back in America,
Yeah.
what are you doing
Back in the
online these days?
US of A. You know, I'm not doing too much online these days, I have to say. I'm still on Twitter. I'm going down with the ship. We're not allowed to promote ourselves on Twitter, but I guess we can promote our Twitters on here, even though who knows how long we'll be around. So you can find me there at RealSomeKatie. I'm not doing that much tweeting. I did tweet a little bit about the mind-boggling, baffling Survivor finale of one of the worst seasons I've seen in quite a long time. So you could check my tweets on that if you want to know my feelings. You can
Can I
also find
interrupt
me
you really quickly?
Yeah.
Seeing the internet after the Survivor finale. As someone who's like in on reality TV, but I think I watched like 30 minutes of the first episode because I had fallen asleep during it. And
Yeah.
I specifically saw when Gabler came back and like without talking to anyone was like, I'm gonna use my idol tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had my last like reality TV world viral tweet was about him saying like, of course, another season or 43 seasons in and we're
Hmm.
keeping the erratic white man in over
Yep.
um a woman of color. Like,
Yes.
go figure. Uh, so I haven't I've been like following along with Twitter, but it's not as easy to follow along with Survivor on Twitter as it is Big Brother
Yes.
because Big Brother is constant and
Hmm.
Survivor is once a week.
Yeah.
But the internet was an interesting Twitter was an interesting place on Wednesday night.
I just want to say justice for Big Brother fans because we're not the only ones that are toxic. Because Survivor
Oh,
fans went right down in the gutter with the Big Brother fans during right after this, and myself, not I was not harassing jurors for their vote. I was not even mentioning any jurors by name. I was not. I just was not in favor of the winner. That was my most toxic trait this season. But I mean, man, people are still going at it
oh,
days later.
that's what's kind of confusing to me as again like a reality TV fan. I podcast about it. Um, I will branch out and watch almost any show. So I, it's not like I kind of tunnel vision on some of these things, but the thing that's been the most perplexing to me is for the amount of people who are on my timeline that one watch a ton of reality TV,
Hmm.
two have watched season upon season of Survivor, three the amount of them who also watch Big Brother, but four also like play these games for fun sometimes
Yeah. Hmm.
and like just don't have the brains to comprehend that for every 43-minute episode that you're seeing there's 3 days of 2 to 3 days of Survivor happening. And
Yeah.
so if the vote is 8-1, clearly shit went down on that island. And I don't mean shit in a negative way. Just stuff happened on that island that the editors chose to not show to you.
Yeah.
Either one, to create this like mass
Well, yeah, they're telling a
outcry.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the amount of people who make it seem like someone winning is like the same thing as I don't know, like running their own mother over with a car is just bewildering to me. Where
Yeah.
it's like 8 of 9 people voted for this one person to win, and whether or not like that person deserved to, clearly something happened. Things happened, multiple things happened that you are not privy to that
Yeah.
allowed it to go that way. And just like the way that it's taken out on the people who did vote for like not the fan favorite. And trust me, like I tweeted about this dude week one. I
Yeah.
and I saw the likes on that he was having on
Top
Twitter.
notch tweet of yours, by the way, of that he's going to join Sarah and Ben's alliance next season on Challenge USA. Top notch.
Thank
That was a
you.
great tweet.
Thank you. I didn't think it got enough it didn't get enough popularity
It was a good
like
one. It was a good one.
there. But for those crossover fans, I
Yeah, he
so
fits the bill. Let's just say that.
so I guess like to me from watching from this somewhat outsider perspective who has enough understanding of reality TV to know that like guys calm the fuck down. Like
Yeah.
the amount of vitriol around all of it is I don't like why would anyone choose to go on these TV shows knowing that like for the next however many months you're going to be like blasted on the internet for something that and like oh the edit like I do genuinely believe in Survivor and the challenge and other shows that don't have these live feeds that Big Brother has like you are allowed to say the edit to an extent clearly when it's
Yeah.
8-1 and everyone at home is like how the fuck did this happen take a
Yeah.
second to be like okay there's stuff we don't know instead of going to the internet and like harassing strangers online
Right. 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 Yeah.
like use your brain for a second
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree.
sorry I had to
No,
use my
don't be
mini
sorry.
platform to go on this rant
Don't be
that
sorry.
I have been holding in
I get it. There's been a lot of just weirdo behavior on Twitter the last couple of days surrounding Survivor from like every corner of whether it's like you're pro the winner, anti the winner, just trolling people for fun. It's just like enough is enough. I'm over it. So yeah, but that's what's going on Twitter these days. That and like, you know, the banning of journalists and not being able to promote. And now actually Elon Musk has a poll up. Should I step down as the head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of the poll. So please, everybody go stuff this ballot box and vote yes, he should step down. Anyway, if you know, whatever, unless you're
I'm
an Elon
going right
fanboy.
now.
Yeah, everybody go do that for us. But other than that, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/realsimkatie. And you can find Kari and I very soon talking about Real Housewives. We've been away from both the challenge and the Real Housewives, but we are coming back to both. So that is what you have to look forward to from us. Otherwise, we released the final episode of Andor right before I went away on my trip of the High Ground podcast. Naomi and I gave all of our thoughts on the season. I will say again that the show is great, and you do not need to be a Star Wars fan to enjoy the show. So check it out if you haven't already. If you need new TV to watch, The White Lotus is over, Survivor's over. There's plenty of time to watch TV now. There's a lot of shows that have just ended. So check out Andor if you haven't already. And that's it. And then listen to our podcast about it, because I don't need to promote something on Disney unless I'm getting something out of it.
I'm KGD26 on the internet, so just follow me wherever you would like. I'm not doing a ton besides tweeting about Festi, I guess. And yeah, that's it. So in terms of podcasts, like Katie said, we'll be coming back soon with Real Housewives. Also, my plug for you is if you're not watching Traitors, like, watch it.
Yes, watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, you can skip over the challenges, but otherwise, like, I would advise watching like the first challenge to get understanding for the fact that like the they're working together whether or not they're traitors to gain money, and that money is like what the people at the end can win. But otherwise, like, what's really interesting to me is the Australian version is like distinctly different in just how it's being approached by the players than the UK version. So the Australian one is done. I am patiently waiting on Channel 10 in Australia to give the winner permission to do an interview with me. I just checked back in with said winner yesterday, and this person said Channel 10 is notoriously slow at getting back to them about things like this. So that should hopefully, fingers crossed, be coming in the near future. I am so excited to talk to this person, so I'm hoping that it happens. I told Katie that this performance is one of my favorite reality TV performances of all time. Not
I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch.
It's
I
good.
have to catch up on that. And I think we're going to be covering the US version, I think.
Yeah, we will. We have to figure out how we're going to do it because they're dropping the whole season in one day.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be a lot.
Like low-key just want to take that day off of work, but I don't have enough
like at
PTO.
least drop it during the holidays when most people are not working or not working very hard. Like, give us a break. Yeah, don't do it like right in the beginning of the year when we're all back to work.
Yeah, it's like a Thursday too. So I have already gone on tirades enough about this. I do not like when we drop things like that.
No, I don't like it either.
Especially a show like this that would benefit from having conversation online about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Traitors USA is coming out January 12th, and we're going to be covering that with probably Javier. So excited. But yeah, check all that stuff out. Also, check us out online. We have a Twitter for now. Who knows?
Until we get banned for self-promotion or free promotion.
Yeah, if we like use links to other social media. But you can follow us on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. So on Twitter, we are at Silent Podcast. Twitch and YouTube, search Silent Podcast and subscribe. You can also listen to us in podcast form, Spotify, Apple, wherever else you listen to podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review, 5 stars, or not no stars, because that would tank our rating, but 5 stars, or just come back to a different episode that you thought was 5 stars and listen. When you listen to that one, you're like, wow, this was fantastic content. that's when you do the 5 stars, and that's when you rate, and that's when you review us.
Yes.
So if today wasn't it, that's fine. I don't take it personally. It's okay. But
Listen, we
next
talked about
time
3
hopefully
episodes
will
of the
be.
challenge. Maybe you didn't find that to be 5-star material. It's totally fine.
True. So,
It's
all
totally fine.
right. But until next week when we're back with more challenge content on TJ Hates Quitters, don't forget to check us out. Plus all the other coverage that goes on Silent Podcast. So we have a bunch of stuff. We've got Survivor coverage. There was like a Lego Masters interview recently. I don't know what other TV shows. Like Katie said, she just finished up with Andor, but there's stuff to listen to.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
check all that out. But we'll be back soon with Real Housewives. So until you decide to listen to us next, bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.